So Kanye West just went on Twitter and announced Vultures too. And honestly, it's seeming like he really does want to drop this three-part series, but knowing the history of Kanye, I really don't think that this is something that's going to drop. And we're going to go over a few reasons why. Remember to like the video, subscribe, all that good jazz, and we'll dive right into it. Kanye West announced Vultures in a three-part series, and he said each month a new part would drop, with Vultures 2 apparently dropping in the next week. And obviously, this builds a lot of hype, and people are going back to Vultures 1 and listening to it and drawing up more streams, which is why I think it's the first reason that it won't drop. Kanye has a history of doing things in a strange manner, and I feel like with this album, he's really just building more momentum up towards Vultures 1 and just having people continuing to stream it as long as possible. Because this is an independent release and Kanye is not really backed by a label as much anymore. Really not backed by anybody, really, if you think about it. Not many people in the industry really mess with them anymore. Unless they just really want the features and, just want to be on Kanye's side. But they're sort of cutting off opportunity for themselves by doing that. I think Kanye is just trying to drop as much hype. And the more he talks about another Vultures album or another project in the Vultures series, I guess, people are going to be hyped for it and anticipating it, and in the coming days leading up to it, they're going to be streaming the hell out of Vultures 1. And I think because of this reason, Kanye just isn't planning on dropping it. He's just going to keep announcing it and delaying it like he usually does, and just trying to draw more attention and get more streams on Carnival and just the rest of Vultures 1. Another reason is Kanye just has a history of lying about drops. Whether he be lying or whether he's just not able to agree with his team on release dates, he always seems to announce a release date before his team can come to an agreement on it, which is always causing for a delay in the albums, whether that be sample clearances or the team just not agreeing with Kanye's release date. It's always getting pushed back, and it doesn't seem like we ever get Kanye albums. And it doesn't seem like we ever get Kanye albums on time. Kanye just isn't really a guy to trust directly with the music date drops, especially seeing Vultures 1, how it constantly got delayed and put on Apple Music for pre-sale, and then how it constantly just kept getting pushed back, taken off Apple Music. Even when it did drop, it was removed from Apple Music for a few days and from Spotify for a few days. So things like this sort of build like a bad taste in the consumer's mouth and sort of makes them anticipate Kanye a little less, even though this cycle has happened for years where he'll announce an album, not drop it, announce an album again, not drop it, announce another album, not drop that. And it's just a cycle that feels like it's never ending, and Kanye is very reluctant to drop a lot of new music. Third reason I think that this Kanye album isn't going to drop is Kanye has scrapped a ton of albums in the past. Not only just delaying albums, Kanye has also canceled albums like Yandi. And this comes from various numerous reasons. Kanye moves in a very fast-paced way, and he likes to get things done quick. So if he's not moving in a fast pace and not dropping the album when he wants to, it's very possible that he can just scrap the whole thing entirely and move on to something else. We've seen it done in the past. We've seen a lot of Kanye West tracks that were planned to drop, but just never did, and a lot of his best work honestly just never dropped. But nonetheless, it seems like there's high potential for this album to get scrapped, especially being that Kanye already dropped the first rendition of Vultures. Obviously, we don't know how the mind of Kanye works. We don't know how anybody else's mind works aside from our own. But being that Kanye's history of working the way he does and just being such a fast-paced person in the industry and doing so many different ventures, it's safe to presume that he might not drop this album just for that reason, that he wants to keep moving and keep going forward and doing other things. I know with all the controversy behind Adidas and his lawsuit and him just wanting to provide more clothing for cheap, that's something he's always talked about, wanting to sell his clothes for $20 or less for kids that can't really afford that high price tag that Adidas was pushing him to. He might just venture off into that and start designing more clothes, more shoes, and putting that for sale, and just move on from the music, because realistically Kanye is at a point in his career where he doesn't really need to drop music like that. He's not really making the majority of his money off the music, so there's really no need. And for those reasons, I genuinely don't think that Vultures 2 or 3 will drop. I think that the next album we get from Kanye is going to be something completely different, and it'll probably be an independent album in the sense that he won't have a collab like Ty Dolla on him the whole way through. But what do you guys think? Do you think we'll see Vultures 2 in the next week? And do you think that Kanye is going to stay true to his word with his drop date? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment. Start a discussion, and I'll be more than happy to read all of them. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.